Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for MATIC. Now I wanted to show you that we've pretty much invalidated this triangle scenario on the daily, and that was the scenario where if we had failed here and came down, we were looking for that one-to-one extension for an E wave and then open along to the upside. So that one's pretty much invalidated itself, so I'm going to take that off the rotation as one of the counts. And my primary count is that we are making a C wave to the upside as a larger ABC or a 3-3-5. Like so, we get our 3, 3, looking for 5 waves to the upside to challenge all-time highs. First target will be 244.34. That's the one-to-one extension of the A wave off the B. So going to be focusing on that count for purposes of this video. Now we had our diagonal to the upside for our wave 1. We then had a 3-wave move to the downside for our ABC. If you remember, the challenges we had with this one with calling the bottom in is we didn't hit the one-to-one extension at the 64.7 cent area, but we did reach the minimum requirement, which was the 618 extension of this A wave off the B, which was 75.17. So as we've moved up here, this scenario where we're in the middle of a correction, which looks like this, a 3-3-5, still valid. But after that, I just challenged the one-to-one extension for the C wave if we were to fail as an impulse. And then we look for the upside again. So it doesn't make a huge difference at the moment, but it does look less likely that we're going to get that move to the downside as this takes longer and longer. You can see just this first wave, if it was an A, B, C, it's way more extended than the A wave, and we usually just look for a one-to-one in time. So probabilities are we are making this impulse to the upside. At the moment, in my point of view, so this count has been pretty difficult. There's a lot of flats if we're bullish. And if you watch my previous videos, I always suggest if a count looks very difficult, I would lean more into the extensions and start from there because we have a lot of overlap. So even this count, even though it was nice and clean, most likely a diagonal with ABCs. We made a nice 3-wave move here for our wave 2 between the 50 and the 618. And then we started to come off here. Again, this count isn't clean either. But if we pay attention to our extensions, our second 1-2, we usually look between the 618 and the 786 of the first wave off the bottom, off our wave 2. And that's where our potential second wave 1 and 2 came from. We then looked between the 1.236 and 382 for our third of the third here, which we just came by a little bit. We then got our fourth wave, and we're targeting the 1.618, which we're almost at for our third wave. And then we'd expect a fourth wave correction back to around the 100%, which is at 92%, or 92 cents, and then a fifth wave to the upside to complete a wave 1. So I don't have a very clean count on that. I'm relying on the extensions here. It does appear you can get a diagonal out of this without, it's not pretty, but without invalidating rules or some sort of running flat for our wave 1-2. And we get our 3-4-5. It's one way to count it, but our retracement looks right for a wave 2. And same problem here. Get a wave 1 and 2. And again, we'd have to get some sort of running flat here. 1, 2, 3, again another flat here to not have overlap, 3, 4, 5, but you can see it's very difficult, but it can be counted as an impulse even though it's super ugly. So I'm focusing more on the fib levels, and what I want to see is a rejection here for our fourth wave, about the same length of time as this one to make sure we're on the right path. Once it's complete, I will pull the pivots from R1 to R5. Look to add to my position between the 236, 382, and the 50. But I'll have to pull these pivots once the fifth wave is in. That will be my buy zone area to add to the position, and looking to target that fifth wave to the upside. So areas to pay attention to is this 50%. Once this pivot is in, I'd pull those fibs. Probabilities are we could be in the middle of that correction still, like I mentioned, as an ABC, and look for a 1-to-1 of this move here off the high. And I would switch probabilities that that is happening once we break the 50, which if it pivots from here is 88.65, but you'll have to re-pull those pivots. But I am expecting this to hold, come back to between the 236.32 and the 50, usually around the 100% extension of this 1-2 here, that area, and looking for 5 waves up to complete, in which case I'll close my long and look for a re-entry on the larger wave 1 and 2. But you can see it's a pretty ugly count. This is the best I can do with this one at the moment. We'd have to have a lot of running flats here to complete. It doesn't appear like we're getting that diagonal. The shape's all off, so more likely impulsive than a diagonal. So we'll see how this pans out here. I'm going to throw some alarms on here just so I don't miss adding to my position. But I do hold MATIC for the long term as well. It's one of the more bullish charts I've found, kind of beginning a nice 5-wave move to the upside. This one I hold longer term as well. But I will be trading in and out of it for some scalps, so I'll make sure to update this one as well. So if you want to follow along, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.